I am here with Anna, the lead instructor from the Community Support Worker Program,
Hi, everybody.
and we are answering your questions today about the Community Support Worker Program. Anna, thanks so much for making the time today.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. All right, let's dive into some questions. We had everybody send us their questions ahead of time. This is live though, so if you want to ask a question, go ahead and add it in the comments, and we'll try to get to that one too. Okay, first question. How will Avis College help me prepare for my future?
That's a really good question. And like I've said before, this is a question you should be asking every time you go to a school. How are
Mhm.
you going to prepare me? And is it what I need for employment? So, first of all, we've got a pretty solid curriculum going on. So, we're going to learn everything that we need out there. So, we're talking about not only reading some theories and reading some techniques, but actually applying those techniques. And that's the most important part. Because as a community support worker, your job is supporting people and applying communication skills. The most important thing for us to do is to train you and to do that here while you're at the school, making those mistakes and kind of trial and error and just kind of getting accustomed to using those skills. So we really focus on that hands-on approach. How do we communicate? How do we support? And then the other component of that is what you do in terms of in class and how things run. We run in a very professional manner. So we have expectations that an employer would have, right? And we work together as a group as you would out there in the field. So we kind of match those expectations so that when you go out there, you're kind of already prepared. And then talking about going out there, you go out on practicum. So you are set up with a practicum placement and you're working with employers that are potentially seeking to hire students once they're done the program. They want to train you so that you can work afterwards. And so they have given us enough feedback and understanding of what they want to see. So by the time you go out there on practicum, you're putting all these skills to the test and they're seeing what you're bringing to the table, which oftentimes results in them offering you a position while you're there.
I want to kind of go deeper on two things that I think you brought up, Anna. You mentioned, or I should say, by my experience, when I pop by your classroom or whatever, the curriculum is so exercise driven, right? Like you
Yes.
do look at theory elements, but you're not waiting weeks to put that into practice. It's like learn something, do something. Am I right
Yeah,
about that?
that's right. So that's really our focus. So as adult learners, we don't do too well with sitting there and just absorbing information like we did in high school. We actually need to apply it to our day-to-day lives. So partly is because of that, because we as adults, we learn better by doing. And secondly, because all of these skills take time to develop. So, in terms of dialoguing with a client, in terms of interviewing a client, we need to have certain ways of asking questions and responding to them so they're comfortable with us. And that takes time. So we really start right away. And that's kind of the focus of when we are together as a class is really just practicing that and practicing working with others.
That's awesome. And the
Mhm.
other thing that you just brought up in my mind, if I'm thinking about being prepared for the future, something that I think is really special about the community support worker is that it's a co-procured practicum. The students are involved in selecting and sourcing their own practicum. So
Right.
it seems to me like a lot of people get involved with the program with maybe one idea of where they want to take their career, but there's a lot of opportunities involved.
Mhm.
So once
Yeah.
you get involved with the studies, new opportunities start to circulate in the mind, and
Yeah.
that practicum part of it is so important, and having the students involved seems like a huge part of the success of it. Am I?
It is. And it's neat because you usually come in with one interest, like you said. Usually students come in and say, I know that I want to work with addictions, I know that I want to do this. And as we start talking about different things, you kind of start to expand your interest. And then the fact that you get to choose where you want to go, right? You don't get told where you're going to go. You get to choose. And oftentimes you'll find that what you wanted to do at the beginning, if it's changed, it's still interlaced somehow. Like if you end up working with women, you're going to work with addiction, you're going to work with homelessness, you're going to work with mental illness, mental health, because everything's so intertwined. So there's always an element of it in there. But
Mhm.
yes, I think it's really cool that you get to choose where you want to practice your skills and where you will potentially look for work.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
next question we've got. Man, I love this question. We hear this sort of thing so much, and this is, I just like
Mhm.
picked two sample kind of questions. wondering if I could do the course. I'm not a great reader,
Mm.
and will I be able to understand the material? Want
Right.
to know what your thoughts are on how we support adult learners.
Yes. So this is a very common question, not only that we hear before students start, but while they're in the program and that's a huge thing for my students is they say, do you think I can do this? Do you think I can pass this? And every single one of those students who's come in with that doubt has done exceptionally well. Right. So again, the approach to adult learning is very different than what we're used to in high school and in a lot of universities, really. It's like you sit there and you listen to lectures and you absorb the information and you memorize. Whereas we're a vocational school because we're focusing on building your skills. So this is where, yes, we're doing some reading, but at the same time we're working on it. We are um, reviewing the material together as a class, and then we're applying those concepts. So it's almost like after I read it, I apply it. There's no room there for you to kind of fall behind. So my answer is yes. If you're willing to come to class and you're willing to put in the work in terms of hands-on skills, you are going to do very well. You're going to pass it. We've developed a program for adult learners specifically. And again, I've never had anybody that comes in asking that question and then not pass. It's always somebody coming in, oh, no, I don't know how to do this. Will I be successful? And then they are extremely successful.
And I just want to echo how often we hear, first of all, this question, and
Mhm.
whether or not it's this specifically or just like a variation on it about
Yeah.
basically not having a lot of confidence or having full confidence in the ability to complete the program either academically
Yeah.
or through schedule, either supporting children, supporting spouse.
Yeah.
We'll get to some other questions about this, but
Yeah.
we hear this time and time and time and time again from students and graduates is, I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could do it. And
Mhm.
their reflection always is jump in, go for it. You
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
And the main thing holding you back is that belief that you might not be able to do it. So
Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely.
that's
There's a lot of
easier
cases.
said than done, right? It's so hard to
Yeah.
overcome that, but
Yeah.
take the
But
first step, apply for
there
the
is a
program.
lot of cases of like students who say, I didn't even finish my high school. Like, how can I
Right.
possibly do post-secondary? And a lot of students that have come through have not completed their high school. And again, they come out the other end successful. It
Yeah.
is a different approach. So yes, it is something you can do. Again, if you're willing to step into it and work on it, you will definitely succeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. This is kind of related, I think.
Yeah.
Wondering if I would still be able to work while going to school.
Right, that's a good question. A lot of students, I think almost every student comes in with this question because, of course, you gotta eat, right? So, yes, the answer is yes. So we do our courses are flexible enough that students can hold at least a part-time job, and again, you do have some homework with your courses. It's always part of schooling, but not to the point where you are completely 5 hours doing homework. Again, as an adult, we learn differently. We don't do that well by reading for hours and hours. We do better by applying concepts, which is our focus as a school. So you are able to work while you're in school, maybe less hours than what you would like. We're talking about maybe something part-time over the weekend, couple hours a night, where you can also take care of yourself. You don't want to burn yourself out while you're in school. But yes, it is a possibility that you can work. A lot of my students do work while they're in school.
And that's the same across the board with all programs. I
Yeah.
would say well over half of our students
Mhm.
work while studying, and in conjunction with that, have a spouse or a partner that may or may not be working, and also support children in the homes. The reality, I guess, of all adult education, what I'm trying to say is that it does require you to wear a lot of hats. It's
Yeah.
busy. It's an investment in time and attention. We take that investment really seriously.
Mhm.
But with that in mind, it's absolutely possible if the student's
Yeah.
willing to be a little bit organized, and it's going to require hard work, but it's
Yeah.
absolutely possible.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, next question. I love this one. I'm excited to hear what you say here. How do I know if, in this case, community support worker, if being a community support worker is the right career for me?
Yes, that's a good one. And I like this question too, because it really does come down to how rewarding you find your work, right? And I think I said this last time we did a video, but you got to like people. You got to like working for people. You got to have a heart for people.
No.
That's the first thing. If you have a heart for people, that's quality number one. And then secondly is, are you rewarded by helping people? Are you rewarded by supporting individuals. That's the big thing. If that's the case, then yes, this is the right career for you, because honestly, when it comes down to something like community support worker, it's all about walking with people through their stages of life and changes and challenges. So if you enjoy just being there for people and going through that, then yes, that's you. The other thing is, if you are somebody who's willing to learn new things about yourself, reflect on yourself, improve yourself on a personal level, then yes, this is the right career for you. It's not just about learning some theories and some skills. This is about also improving yourself in terms of your personal growth and your professional growth. So if that's something that you find interesting or that you think you'd be able to do, this is definitely for you. We're all about that.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's something we've talked about in a past broadcast as well, was that idea of that self-growth that comes along with
Yes.
the program.
Yeah.
It seems like those are the people that excel the best, or the ones that are willing to really take that on and challenge
Mhm.
themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and what's cool is you're not on your own doing that, right? Not to make it sound a little bit scary, but you're not on your own. As a class, we grow together.
Right.
And the benefit of that is, in this field of community support worker and anything social services related, you need to have a deep understanding and connection with yourself. So we really focus on that here. And so your ability and your openness to do that will determine how successful you will be out there in the field, and it'll be an ongoing thing, right? So if that's something that you're willing to tackle, which is very rewarding, you ask any of my graduates, and that is a very rewarding part of this, because it starts with ourselves. We got to grow ourselves to help others grow.
Dynamite. Well, I can't think of anywhere better to leave that off, Anna. Thank you so much for answering all the questions that we keep getting about this program.
For sure. You're very welcome. Thanks, John.
Okay, see you soon.